Where do you go to buy a bike? A bike shop? That's a good idea, they know what they're doing. Or if you know what you're doing, you can go on Facebook Marketplace or eBay, get yourself a bargain. But what about Amazon? They sell everything, right? Well, I've gone to Amazon and bought their worst reviewed mountain bike. How bad can it be? And here it is. The 2024 Wind Greeting 26-inch mountain bikes, 24-speed bicycle, adult fat tyre mountain trail bike, high carbon steel frame, dual full suspension, dual disc brake bike. All right, so this bike has the longest name I've ever seen. That's kind of on trend with some other bikes as well. But let's take a look at some of the claims that Amazon listing makes. Frame is made of high carbon steel, 26-inch full shock mountain bike with 24-speed Shimano. Strong grip and anti-skid. Well, that's the bike we ordered, but actually this showed up, which looks exactly the same, but it says 4No on the side. That is not a Shimano rear derailleur. Actually, in the specs of this bike, it also says it weighs about 27 kilograms, which I love the vagueness. This bike costs £490. I'm gonna ride it, and I'm gonna let you know if I think it's good value. But if you want this bike in orange, well, that's going to cost you £520. If you want it in green, it's going to cost you £530. I don't know why the different colours are more expensive, but there you go. Right, let's take a look at these Amazon reviews. This machine is the worst reviewed mountain bike on Amazon with an average of 2.7 stars out of a possible 5. 42% of people who bothered to review this bike gave it 1 star, the lowest rating, although 29% gave it 5, so they can't all be wrong, surely. Let's take a look at some of the reviews. So first person says, great looking bike. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Although it does go on to say the gear selectors are plastic and feel like they may break. The brake levers are cheap. It feels like if you pull hard, they might snap. Not perfect. The rear shock is great, but the front feels loose and poorly made. Agreed. Road bike only, I wouldn't take it off-road. My overall view is the bike looks great, but is cheap. Next person says, awful. I've attached an email I received from the local well-known cycling shop in the UK. They didn't like it. I'll summarise basically. I would like a return on the £550. Never again, 550, ripped off. 520 quid for that. This bike is okay. When I took the bike out of the box, put it all together, there's dents in the bikes and scratches. Although that was good enough for 2 stars. Last one, 1 star, substandard frame and parts. Looks good, however, is not. Gears are online, brakes are poor, front forks are substandard, sent back for a full refund. Am I gonna get a full refund after I ride it? I don't know. Well, as much as I like looking at it, it's probably time to ride it. You got that tool?
How far did you get now?
50 metres? I brought my most comprehensive multi-tool because I somewhat expected issues. It's been a while since I've used a 15mm spanner on a bike, but here goes. Ready again. First impressions. Seat's comfy. It's about as good as it gets. It is crazy how heavy it feels. It's not heavy, it's not 27 kilos, no way. They got their specs wrong. It's lighter than that, but the drag, and where is it coming from? Is it coming from, like, I've ridden fat bikes before and they feel fast. This does not feel fast. It feels very heavy and like I have zero fitness. So what's the riding verdict? Well, terrible. The fork feels like it's literally falling apart. If I rock it back and forward now, there's so much movement in there. It feels like if I ride it into something, it's going to snap off. But I think I'm going to start taking the bike apart to take a look at the build quality. Take a look at the fork. This is a Daniel fork. I guess that's kind of welded in there, but I can see a gap. I can see my finger through there. And just look at the metal, it's so thin and kind of dented. Same with the bars, taking the grip off. It's not even a flat end on there, it's got a chunk taken out. Actually, it's not going to be that easy to take apart because some of my tools don't fit and some of these bits are very old-fashioned. It's neither a 5 or a 4. It's wear resistant, I'm not so sure. Check out that crown after about 20 minutes of riding. It's safe and rugged. That fork is not safe. 24-speed Shimano gears. Hang on, what is 3x7? And how do you spell Shimano? Widened tyre design for riders from 5'7" up to 6'4". Nice ring to it. That is maxed out, and I'm 5'10". High-speed riding is easier. Easier than what? Unicycle. So the listing was somewhat inaccurate, it's got to be said, but some of the reviews nailed it. So there are many issues with this bike, but really the fact that it's fallen apart within sort of 10 minutes of the first ride. But the big one really is the fork. You can see where that is cracking into the bottom of there. That is dangerous in my opinion. But the biggest problem I find with this bike is it's £500. £500 you could buy a proper hardtail. Check out your online shops. I've seen one there with Shimano hydraulic disc brakes, a Suntour fork. It's completely upgradable as well. So this is not upgradable. You know, everything is made out of metal that is just gonna bend or break eventually, or these sort of plastic bushes on the shocks. You're not gonna be able to replace them. So it's basically landfill when everything wears out, which is pretty quick. You're not gonna be able to do anything with it. So if you want to get into mountain biking and you've got £500, don't buy this, buy yourself a nice hardtail that you'll love riding. I'll leave the final word with one Amazon reviewer who said, the bike is costing more to repair than it's worth, it's a load of 1 star.